Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today I'm going to share with you guys all of my ovulation and 2-week wait symptoms for my BFP cycle, or the cycle that I got pregnant. I didn't think they really warranted having a separate video for like ovulation and the 2-week wait. I think I'll just give you guys all the different symptoms that I had experienced during the like ovulation time and then the full 2-week wait until I got my positive pregnancy test. It was a different cycle. I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was a bad thing, but I did have a lot of symptoms that definitely were different. So who knows? I know a lot of people just like to symptom spot. They like to see if other people have the same things as them. So I figured I would make this video. I did do one for my first pregnancy. I'll try to remember to link it below, but it's also in my pregnancy playlist for baby number one, so you can watch that as well, because I think it was different symptoms then as well. But also be sure to head over to my Instagram. It is always linked down below. That's where I am on a more daily basis, but enough rambling, let's get into this. Alright, so starting out, the ovulation period was actually really different than the previous cycles. If you didn't know, we had been trying for a while to get pregnant again. I had a chemical pregnancy, and then we were trying for quite a bit of months, to the point where I wasn't really expecting to get pregnant, and I wasn't necessarily taking symptoms as signs that I would be pregnant. So leading up to ovulation, I actually had a lot of spotting, which I don't think has really ever happened to me, really ever. But my period ended, it's usually around 5 to 6 days, and it had stopped completely. And then I spotted from like day 7, I think, all the way to 10, which would be like 4 days. I just spotted a tiny bit like here and there very randomly, but through like multiple days. So that was definitely weird for me. I still don't know what that could have meant, but I do count that as like part of the ovulation symptom time. I don't know what it meant in the end. And then come ovulation, if you watched my TTC vlogs, you'll see that I did share that I was doing a lot of different stuff. I did my temperatures, because that tells you if you ovulated. I also did OPK testing, which I always do, and I also took proof strips, which you take those a couple of days after ovulation, and it confirms that your progesterone has risen, which says that you had ovulated. So I was confirming in many different ways, and while I was confirming in my other cycles, this was the first cycle that I felt ovulation in some way. I never have like the cramps where like people are like, oh, that, you know, I'm ovulating because I got a specific cramp. I never get that. But this month I actually had really bad cramps, like pretty intense cramping. It started right after dinner, so probably 5 or 6 p.m. on cycle day 14, which was around when I ovulated. I think I ovulated the morning of cycle day 15. So the cramps started that evening. They went all the way like through the night and the next morning. I remember I was walking the baby outside before his nap, and I was like breathing through, like they were pretty good cramps. Just like period cramps, but I don't get a lot of period cramps, so it was definitely a little weird. But then they just like suddenly disappeared around like I think like 11 a.m. the next day. So it was like over a 12-hour period of just having some really good like period like cramping, and then it disappeared as quickly as it came. And I did confirm that that was when I ovulated, so that was my only real ovulation symptom, but it was definitely a good ovulation symptom. I do also track things like CM and cervical positioning and stuff like that, but that's just never been reliable for me personally, especially because I was still nursing a little bit. So all of those like more physical signs that a lot of people rely on, I just wasn't able to. But that was my main symptom, was I actually had pretty good cramps for ovulation. And then going into the 2-week wait, to be honest, at first I had like not many symptoms at all. I always get like headaches during that time, so that also happens before my period, so I can't really go based off that symptom. But the only main things, around 12 or 13 DPO, I believe it was, I had really bad cramps. Like these were way worse. They almost felt contraction-like. because they would come and go, and every time they came I'd really have to like take a deep breath, or if we were outside walking again I would like stop for a second and kind of have to hunch over, like standing up straight hurt. So they were very contraction like. It was really weird. And I think I also mentioned them in my first pregnancy vlog that if it's not up yet, it will be up soon. But it lasted for kind of around 2 days-ish. It was like a full day, a pretty good cramps, and then they did fade out and go away, but it definitely freaked me out. They actually had started in the evening again, just like around ovulation, and it wouldn't have been literally implantation because I was already getting a very faint positive around this time, but I do think it was still some form of like implantation, since that is like a whole long process. But that was like the only main symptom in my 2-week wait that I could say that I like truly thought was weird. And it wasn't like period cramps. It really felt like contraction like, and they would come in waves, and like it was painful. But yeah, it definitely had some cramping during the 2-week wait. And then the only other thing I could say that I personally experienced was fatigue, and that does make sense. That was the main symptom I had with my son during the first trimester, was fatigue, and that really set in before the missed period. During the 2-week wait, towards the end of it, I just felt really tired. I had a day, one single day, where I had like the worst stuffy nose. I felt horrible. I thought I was gonna have like the coronavirus or something because of how just horrible I suddenly felt one morning, and then it faded away. So like it totally went away. But the fatigue set in there and definitely has been pretty bad ever since. I can hear the baby waking up. But yeah, that was definitely my main thing. So as you guys can tell, I haven't had a ton of symptoms for the 2-week wait, but I had a couple that really just stick out, which would obviously be the ovulation cramps, the implantation cramps, and fatigue. And that is all I can really say for main symptoms. The only other things you would really say are my temperature chart, which I can put here, had a very clear rise after ovulation, and then it actually had a dip and another rise, and that usually possibly can mean implantation. So I guess that could be another thing. It's not a symptom, but it is a like characteristic that happened. But yeah, nothing crazy for me personally. I'm sorry if you guys wanted to hear super crazy symptoms, but mine were pretty simple, but they definitely were different from other cycles. And I would say maybe if you're trying to be a symptom spotter, just see if the cycle is different from other cycles, because that's definitely what happened here. Is the cycles were just very, like, this one was very different from my others due to these like weird cramps and stuff, and my temperature chart was way different. So that's all it really was. Nothing too exciting. Anyways, I did document this whole little journey to baby number 2, and I will be documenting my pregnancy, so if you guys want to see that, be sure to subscribe. Also head to my Instagram down below and come and chat with me and keep up with my pregnancy. But that's gonna be it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.